Hey, everybody. So as Knut mentioned, my name is Nataliya. I'm a software developer at Rangle. We're pretty close by, just on St. Andrew. St. Andrew, that's the one. So not too far, and we've had a really great time working with Sanity over the last few years. This is a little bit of an older project, so you'll actually see an older version of the studio, but the workflows and things that we've created were really cool and helped inspire us on other projects as well. So what I want to talk about today is, well, if you're from Toronto, you've probably heard about Endy because you've been on the TTC or walking around literally anywhere. So you'll see a lot of Endy ads everywhere, our Canadian Casper, if you will. So what I want to talk about today is working with Endy to re-platform them from just solely on Shopify using all those liquid templates, etc., and throwing them into Sanity and making a pretty big impact, especially in their promotional management, creating lots of frequent sales, etc. So that's what we'll talk about today. And we did a lot with Endy, actually. We didn't just work on their sales and promotion, but we did, exactly what you do with a headless CMS. You decouple that presentation layer in a way that doesn't become like a detriment to their admins or to their content authors, but is way more fun for developers to work on. And with Sanity, if you've worked with it, you know that kind of the world is your oyster, and so you can plug and play and do lots of new things with your site, with your brand, with your content, without breaking apart your entire architecture. So we helped them move on over to Sanity, and by the time they got to working with Sanity, they got to start working, I'm sure if you've gone to Endy's site, they have lots and lots of sales. So by the time we finished this project with them, they were able to streamline their sales process to be so quick. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. And because with this headless architecture, we did build their site or re-platform their site, but we didn't just build that site. We built a site builder and also like a promotions and sales builder. So it was a lot of fun to work with, and it was really exciting to see the impact that actually made on their content authors and their developers. So I'm excited to talk a little bit about that. First, just real quick, if you haven't heard about Rangle, we have been around here in Toronto for the last 10 plus years. I think it's 11 now, but 10 looks better with the little plus symbol. So we've been around since 2013, and we work with global enterprises and scale-ups, creating products, digital experience platforms, and building the engine that we like to say that keeps that evolving so that we kind of future-proof you for the future. These are some of the logos, the clients that we've worked with. And Burst was a recent one, also on Sanity, Hims and Hers, GoFundMe, BMO. So we've worked on a lot of different clients, and we have a lot of deep CMS implementation and migration experience, Endy being one of them. Along with that, Rangle has a lot of really deep partnerships in this space specifically. So Figma, which is, hopefully as a developer you've worked with Figma, it's a great tool. We're one of 6 certified Figma partners. We are partners with Sanity, stars next to Sanity. So we've been having a really great time working with them. Vercel, Next.js, and Storybook. So when you're in this headless ecosystem, I'm sure you've seen these brands. So we are partnering with all of them and have had a really great time working with these technologies on our various projects. Along with that, we've had a great time creating content with Sanity. We have some Sanity webinars, some blogs that we've worked on just like what the experience is like working with Sanity. So feel free to check out our website, check out our blog. I think there might be some things hosted up on Sanity as well with Rangle, so feel free to take a look at that. But yeah, let's get started a little bit on this Endy project specifically. So what we have here, e-commerce content changes are frequent. All content changes on on big websites are common. They're frequent. So that's not a big deal. Especially when you're working with Sanity. But marketing and promotional changes are constant. So like I mentioned, if you're hopping on Endy's website or a lot of different kind of indie brands like that, they really thrive off of frequent sales, bringing more users over into their website and bringing in new products and marketing new products. So there's just sales all the time. It's very important, especially as you're creating new products, maybe new furniture. Endy recently has started doing more with furniture, with sheets, more than just mattresses, right? So with that, you want to power your people coming to your site with those sales. So it's a huge part of their content strategy and is a huge part of the content strategy for many e-commerce brands. And with promotions, you usually have dozens and dozens of touch points across your entire website, just specifically for sales. So Endy certainly is one of those organizations. So I want to talk about the challenge that we had actually specifically with Endy. So you can kind of see some of the kind of sales content that you will frequently see when you hop onto their site. But like I mentioned, the revenue is highly reliant on sales and promotions. But creating these sales and promotions was a very painful and slow process for content authors and developers, which in fact were the same people. So their developers were their content authors. And that's because all of their content was kind of mixed up in just plain Shopify liquid templates. And they would need to, they'd need to go through and edit touch points throughout all of their liquid templates to adjust their sales and create sales content. Along with that, they had two separate stores. They had a French store, because we're in Canada, and an English store. So, their site was a hodgepodge of Shopify components, some legacy stuff, some third-party stuff. Performance wasn't great for that reason alone. Setting up a sale could take 2 weeks. Certainly not 1 day, certainly not 2 days, and their developers would need to be the ones doing it. So you can kind of see how the marketing people, the merchandisers, would be so heavily reliant on developers. And developers are an expensive asset that aren't, when they're working on content, they're not working on new features for your site. They're not working on kind of the other stuff that is super important to get your e-commerce experience going. So they often needed to have a single developer who was dedicated specifically to sales. Once they finished doing all the stuff and all the different templates that they needed to do for one sale, the next day would happen and they need to start preparing for the next sale, right? So not so great. You only have so much budget for so many developers to do that kind of work. So this was a really exciting project for us to kind of make an impact, a big impact in that area. So what did we do? Instead of developers turning on a sale, taking that 2-week period of time to turn on that sale, we enabled the developers to enable you to turn on a sale, you being a merchandiser or a marketer. Developers, like I mentioned, it doesn't make sense for us to be sitting in there editing content and creating that sale. We wanted to enable and create an engine so that a merchandiser could do that. So one of the first kind of things that we did when we started working on this project is that we audited their site. We audited their entire site and cataloged all of the touch points where sales might show up. These are just a few, but there could be dozens. Depending on the site size, it could be hundreds of touch points, right? So just pointing out here, we have like a pencil banner that you often see on different sites showing different kind of sales, different CTAs. We have our promo pills that will often show up on banners. This one says get a promo or gift promo or promo. We also see that this is a hero banner here. It's what they're calling a variant of the hero, which is a split screen, and that's specific to sales. And then you have, when you go to your product detail pages, the place where you see all of the details about the product you want to buy, add to cart, etc. The shop module banner, we have an area in here. It says free gift with mattress included. That shop module banner will exist when there is a sale. So these are just a few of the touch points that we found throughout the site. Other ones include a countdown time label, 3 days left until the sale is over, right? More banner pill labels, product pill labels, maybe the side cart, the cart is open and it says, hey, you have this in your cart, do you maybe want to buy this other thing? Or, hey, you have a gift coming as well. Collections pages have feature banners where you're going to see those sales touch points. Terms and conditions for different sales. Different modals that you'll see, unlock this offer kind of modal, last chance modals. I mean, depending on your e-commerce brand, it could be just dozens, hundreds of touch points, and those were some of those for Endy. So what we did, this is a little bit of an earlier version of Sanity, but still great workflow. Could still build this in the current version. We built an area, sorry for the flashing. We built an area where you can set the sale. So I'll go backwards a little bit and say what I'm kind of talking about and focusing on specifically here is the promotions workflow with Sanity, but in here we also connected with Shopify with Sanity Connect for Shopify, which is a plugin which will bring in all of the products from your Shopify, bring in all the data. What we did there is we brought all those products in and then enabled those to be references. So you could reference those products on lots of different kinds of pages. You can say, when there's a sale, please make the sale happen on these products. And so that's kind of the connection that we have with Shopify, bringing in all that data. And then, of course, with Sanity, you can enrich all of that Shopify information with more content. Just want to quickly pause and see if we need anything here. Or a different computer, I don't know. Apple trademark. Gotta go Apple trademark. But anyway, so Sanity is a great place where you can work with that Shopify data because of that plugin. The plugin, here we go. The plugin will also sync your product data anytime the product data is updated in Shopify, so that Sanity has that updated product information. So we're not taking a look right now at where those products live, but just know that exists. We broke it again. Okay, we're good. So what we're seeing right now actually is a separate area where we are letting our merchandisers, our e-commerce people, our content authors to set a sale. So what you'll see here is a list of a bunch of sales that they've had. These are kind of the different promo codes that they've have throughout the year. We have an area where you set the promo code itself, a theme color maybe for the sale. Oftentimes you'll go to the site right now. I think it's very bright pink as their theme color for the sale. How many days until it's a last chance offer is 3 in this case. And then what I was mentioning earlier, some Shopify sale details. Some of these details are not actually synced from the plugin, so we've added them here so that our front end has current access to those. So we've got like our start and end dates for that sale for this particular Easter 15% off sale. We're deciding what kind of sale it is. In this case, it is a fixed amount sale. You could have different kinds of sales here. I think they're set on Shopify as well. Buy one, get one, buy more, save more, percentage off sales, all of that. So this is an area where we're actually setting the details of that sale so our front end can know what those details are. And next, we are setting the content for that sale. So before we were in this little settings section, and now we're here in content. Maybe I should hop on over. Oh no, that's true. We're still good. So we're in the sales area, and in this content area, this content group, you actually see that we have a reference to some content. You can't see the content, but it's a reference to some content that we're calling English 15% off. And below that, we have some translations. It says French, free sheets, not Easter 15% off, because in that area, in that locale, we don't want to talk about Easter. We don't want to do an Easter sale. We just want to sell some sheets. So this is a reference to some sales content that we'll take a look at in a second. But what this means basically is that for this Easter 15% off sale, you have two different kinds of content that will show up when the sale is active on those dates that we took a look at earlier. So this is super, super powerful because you can have a one-stop shop for your marketers to enter all the content that they need for a specific sale. So here, we've created another area here called content, which is where you create that content that will be referenced in the sale. So here we have Easter 15% off. And up here you can see all the various, well, hopefully you can see if you if you zoom in a little bit, but you can see all the various touch points that we would have audited for the sale. So we have some heroes selected right now. We have the shop module, side cart, we have our collections feature, the terms and conditions, those touch points that I was talking about earlier. So instead of a marketer coming in and having to go to all those areas for all those different pages and setting the new content for that sale or affecting the default content that they would have on their site in production, they have a new place where they would create all this very specific sales content that they only want to be active for a short amount of time. We have heroes selected here, and within heroes, you can also see you have a home page, a collections page, an MLP or mattress learner page, and the various details that you would need to fill in for the new sales hero. So we have a homepage variant, the default split screen that I showed earlier. What the pill label is going to be, in this case, limited time offer, the heading 15% off. So in this area, you are adding in content that's going to be available and showing on the site for a short amount of time, the time that you have specified for that sale in the previous area. And you can do that for all the different heroes throughout the entire site, and you can do that for all of the other touch points that we talked about earlier, all in one place. So basically, when a marketer wants to set a sale, create the content for the sale, they live here, and they don't live throughout, they don't have to go through all of Sanity updating everything. Additionally, we added the ability for ND to preview those drafted sales. So this does not impact their production or their current sale going on, if they have a current sale going on. Because these sales are scheduled, the content will just automatically get updated on the site without them having to think about it. So up at the top here, I have a little arrow showing the schedules. Haven't showed it in this slide deck, but if you go take a look in the schedules area, you can schedule different content to activate and deactivate at your discretion. But what you can see here is in this content area, we've opened up the side pane preview. Again, this was much before presentation mode came in. So this is that iframe that Sam was talking about earlier as well. And here you can see there's a little drop down that shows you different sales that you could take a look at. In this case, there's a draft of free mattress protector and a New Year sale. So they can go ahead and, instead of spending 2 weeks crafting a sale, taking a break, and then spending another 2 weeks crafting another sale, they can actually set up all of their year's sales in, however long that might take, a couple days, or if they're needing to set a single sale, 1 day, right? So you can have all of these sales, all of this content ready to go and scheduled in advance. You know when Boxing Day is going to be, when Thanksgiving is going to be, when the Super Bowl is going to be. All of these kind of big events where you're going to have sales, you can schedule that in advance. And you can preview what those sales are going to look like. You can look at your New Year's 2025 in January 2024 without publishing and overriding your current production code. So this, for example, we took a look over on here. This side, this is free mattress protector. I've switched over, and now we're looking at New Year's. This is just not impacting their production code at all, and previously they weren't able to really preview those sales. They could really just be looking in Figma and just, hoping that that's what it ends up looking like when they publish it when the time comes. So this was very, very impactful, like I mentioned, for their content authors, because they didn't have to talk to a developer at all. What I mentioned earlier is that we had our developers create an engine for their marketers to create their own sales. So instead of having a developer completely dedicated to driving sales towards the site with these promotions, now their developers can work on new features, maybe personalization that they want to add to the site. They can focus on scaling to more locations. They can focus on all the different kinds of pages and components and interactions that they want to have with all of their new products that they're going to be building, because now they have the time. And their content authors can be thinking ahead to new kinds of sales that they want to be publishing on the site for all of their new products and all of their new locales, without the thought of, can a developer do that for me, or do they have time? This person's out sick and they're the only person who knows how to do promotions. That's not a thing that exists anymore. So kind of been talking about the results the whole time, but what we'll say here, because it's a cute slide, 210, French and English support. They're able to show their to localize their promotions in both of their French and English and future languages. They're able to launch promos in 1 day. They were not able to do that before. Truly, it took them weeks to put these promos together. So this was just such a massive impact. And like I mentioned, 0 developers needed. So this was a really big milestone for them. Their marketing and merchandising teams could configure pages, promotions without any help at all. And this was a really big impact. They were able to sleep soundly. So that's it for kind of what we did with Endy, but feel free to learn more about Rangle and kind of the other work that we do with e-commerce. And thank you all so much.